it like there in sunny San Diego today?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's very warm. We're having a bit of a heat wave out here. So,
Yeah, that's true. West Coast heat waves.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we were able to get together this morning because we want to share what's coming up this weekend. And it's super exciting for me, especially because it's something I've experienced a number of times with you. And it's really fun, the things that come out of it. But today I asked you if you would share one of the Secrets of the Masters, which is the title of this weekend's class, Secrets of the Masters. And one of them is how to bend time.
Yeah, that's one. So I'll actually show you that at the end of this. Now, I never would have believed that this was true in a million years, right? Time is very fixed, right? There's 60 seconds in a minute and 60 minutes in an hour, and that's a law. There's no changing that. But over the course of time, after my awakening, I started to understand things just a little bit differently. Now, there's the conceptual understanding of things, and then there's the experiential. Like, can you actually do it? And when it happened to me for the first time, I was absolutely just godsmacked. I was just, that is not mathematically possible. I had an experience where I was driving. I'd make the same drive every single week, and I would have the car on cruise control every single week, and it would take like an hour and 45 minutes. And that particular day, everything, it was very lemony snickets. Everything went wrong, everything you can imagine. The car was empty. We couldn't get, so that was kind of the icing on the cake, but we couldn't get out of the house. It was like we ended up being like 45 minutes late, as far as if you looked at it mathematically, 45 minutes late, and ended up arriving 5 minutes early. So anyway, that was my first shocking episode of time bending. I then kind of went on to start teaching it to others and including it with my Secrets of the Masters seminars. And the stories that came back were even more ridiculous than the ones that I had. So anyway, these are all learnable skills that you can do. They just are things that as soon as you actually know how, and you set your disbelief aside and some other things aside, then anybody can do it. And we've proven now with hundreds and hundreds of students all over the world that you can do these amazing things, which I'll tell you more about a little later.
It's really true. So I have to share that after I learned it, I have shared it many times as well. So one of my stories is we had a whole group in Sicily, and we knew we were going to be a half an hour late for the ferry to the Aeolian Islands. And I mean, even though it's Italian time and they run late for everything, like we were seriously going to miss the ferry. So I remembered that I think just maybe the month before you taught this in a seminar, I thought, okay, we're going to try it. So I taught it to the group, and we did the technique, which we're going to show everybody. And we arrived about a half an hour early, which means somehow we gained an hour. So we got there was nobody there. I was sure it didn't work and we had missed it. And when I got up to the ferry, I said, oh, we're late, running late. And the man looked at me like I was crazy. And he said, no, you're early. Look, the ferry's empty. And I looked back at the group and we all looked at each other and we checked the time. We knew what time the ferry was. It wasn't a mistake about time. We knew how long it was going to take to get there, and everyone had checked. We had, a navigator. We arrived early somehow, and none of us could believe it. And also, I taught it to my husband. He drives down in LA a lot. And he would need to get from here to there in a certain length of time. But you know how LA is. You can't guarantee what time you're going to get anywhere because of the freeways, right? So he's not a woo-woo. Like none of this work is something he's into, but he was desperate. So I taught him how to do it. And sure enough, he would arrive early or on time and again and again. And now it's just part of something he does on a regular basis if he's going to be late. So it is repeatable, it is doable, and I'm super excited for everyone to learn about it. But before we do, talk to us about why you call this seminar Secrets of the Masters. What are the secrets and who are the masters?
Gosh, so the secrets are basically things that very few people know about. And the masters are, the people that I've had the really good fortune to run into. Some of them are known. The disciples, some of the direct disciples of Yogananda, the guy that's Autobiography of a Yogi. And there's some monks from Tibet. And there's other people that are living today that there's no other real word that would be appropriate for them other than master. They're the type of things that you've read about in kind of those like biblical type things where it's like people were in two places at one time. These are things that are actually happening today. And I've had the good fortune of having all of these multiple teachers that had just come into my life, one after the next, and given me a piece of the puzzle. I have no other way to describe it other than that old adage, you know, when the student's ready, the master appears. And they appeared. And so that's how it's gone for me. And my mission in doing this Secrets of the Master seminars, I don't feel like these secrets are best sequestered. They are based in love and new understandings and empowering people. So I feel like they all make people's lives better. And they go right along with virtues like forgiveness and acceptance and love and these sorts of things. And their side consequences of these are some amazing things. If you know the trick, and I'm just going to call it, they're like a hat trick, if you will. So yes, that hopefully that explains that.
Yeah, it's so interesting about masters because we know that we have great masters of great influence that we run into. And then occasionally, it's the old lady next door who teaches you something and becomes a master in your life. So that's such a beautiful thing. And it's wonderful that you're willing to share your experiences. And that's kind of how you came into the public eye, is being on Regina Meredith on Gaia on Open Minds and sharing one of the miracle creators that you had learned, the water. It's called A Profound and Simple Method for Healing on Gaia.com if you haven't seen that interview. And it's such a beautiful thing, and it's a real way to create a miracle. And you usually teach that in class at least once. Are you going to teach it this time, do you think?
Oh, yeah. I'll teach everybody that. A lot of people who already know me know how to do it and do it successfully.
But it's fun, and it is another one that's really, really repeatable. And that's the thing that I think is so fun about what you teach in Secrets of the Masters and what we teach in CognoMovement is miracle creating. Like, we laugh about it, CognoMovement practitioners, that if there's not a miracle happening every day, we're like, hey, where's my miracle for the day, right? And it becomes repeatable and something that becomes an everyday part of life. So these things that you teach, that's the idea. They'll create a mini miracle for you in the moment, but you can use them again and again and again throughout your life, right?
Yeah, it becomes the new normal for you. The new normal that you're not late because you know how to do this. Which I'm going to show you at the end of the show, this little talk today, I'm going to show you how. But it becomes your new normal that you can help somebody with their pain. It becomes your new normal that physical aches and pains and problems that they're temporary to you because you can make them go away. And you have a new understanding of what underlies them. So, yeah, and they're simple and fast. That's kind of the nature of all of these kind of secrets to masters. It's not like, oh, you're going to have to concentrate for a week on this. No, it's here now, quick. You learn it and you get a skill right away.
Yeah, they really are relatively instant, and they're indistinguishable from magic. I heard that phrase again today. They talk about UFOs, indistinguishable from magic, and it's true. The stuff that you'll be teaching in class, it's rooted in ancient wisdom and ancient knowledge because, they knew how to do these tricks too. And lots of times when we're talking about it, you refer to them as a hack because it's some shortcut to change reality, to change perspective, which changes reality, right?
Right.
To change your energy, but right now in the moment. So one of the things in part one, this is part one of a series, an ongoing series, because there's so many that you want to share this time, is the secrets of people's teeth. Will you share just a little bit about that?
Wow. Okay. So the this one came about from many different things that I'd been shared with me, but your ancestral kind of the traumas and the problems and the fears of your ancestors and yours as well. There's a holding of this in the teeth, and the meridians of the body, right? These energy channels that they've been known about forever, they all cross through the teeth, and there's a simple methods that I've developed where we release that, and the pains that you experience, that it's like instantaneous relief. I've even had one woman who, well, actually there's multiple now, that have had abscesses. And they called me up and said, I'm going to have to go to the hospital. Dentist, I'm going to have this thing pulled. And there's a tremendous amount of pain. Anyway, went through the process with them, and it's within minutes. It goes from hard and hot and swelled up and painful, and it just dink, 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 dink. And it's like, oh my gosh, it's gone. It's like, what happened? Anyway, these. A simple new understanding is all it is just a new understanding, and anybody can do it. It's not it's like you said, Liz, it seems like a miracle, but it's really about releasing energy.
Well, I think, the definition of a miracle is something you don't expect to happen, shouldn't happen, isn't really in the realm of possibility or probability, and yet it happens. And an abscess in the mouth doesn't usually just diminish like that. So for the person experiencing an abscess that goes away instantly, that's a pretty big miracle.
Well,
So
you know, yeah, it was shocking. You know, it's shocking for her, and for me, you know, all of these things, all of them, you know, have been shocking. Every damn one of them. When I learned it, and then I applied it to real life scenarios, I was like, holy cow, that can't even be true. There was something, so it just distorts your reality. So going to one of this weekends of Secrets of the Masters is reality distorting. You don't walk away the same because, you know, the rules that you thought were in place, they're not. And there's something more. And so, but like I say, I'm no different than you. You know, it was shocking as heck to me when I learned and applied every one of these. It's been a growth. It's been growth every step of the way for me.
I mean, that's something that is really true. And we, again, with the CognoMovement team, we find it kind of a commonplace now. You know, we take it for granted, but you literally are not the same person because, like you said, the rules don't apply. Yeah. What you walked in with for the in the morning with Secrets of the Masters, and then what you experienced during the day, when you leave, you're not the same person because now you see the world is very different than you originally anticipated. So what the next one I want to talk about, this is one of my personal favorites, is being able to positively remote influence others. This is one, a lot of us, I think, in some ways we do it without realizing it, recognizing, but you're going to actually teach people how to do it and how it's repeatable. And so go ahead, tell us about that, remote influencing.
Okay, so remote influencing is how to positively impact a whole room. I'll just tell it as some real life stories. I had one of my students was a guy that was a defense contractor, so high-tech defense. And if you've been involved in kind of that military industrial complex, they're quite serious about their business. And there is, by its very nature, a lot of fear. It's a fear-based business, right? And this emanates through everything. So in their meetings, they have a lot of attack, right? You have to defend your position. I have my product, whatever that is, that I'm in my division, and you have to defend that, you know, your product and your job and everything. So there's a lot of judgments and there's a lot of management layers in these multi-billion-dollar defense contractors. So meetings, there's an entire room and you're standing up there doing a presentation and people are, you know, you could get axed at any time. They lay off people by the tens of thousands at these companies, you know, when they go through it. Anyway, so I taught my student how to do this, how to positively influence all the people in the room, and to have them start feeling different in a positive way, compassion, feeling connected, supportive, collaborative, instead of attack, you know, fear, you're no good, you know, that sort of thing. Anyway, he was laughing. He called me up after the meeting. He said, not only the people that were attacking, you know, everybody else, because they all sit through each other's presentations, everybody else is getting attacked. And he said he's doing his presentation. The guys are looking maniac, pointing at him. Yep. You know, and then good presentation, you know, and the boss's boss, you know, he walks out, the boss's boss, he gets up, goes out in the hallways, hey, great job. keep it up. You know, it's like, whoa, you know, talk about support, you know, from the top down, and having people recognize the top guy thinks he's okay. He's okay. You know, so my boss's boss says he's okay. It's all right. So anyway, but it was very interesting that all of these kind of very powerful people, you know, within the organization all respond like that. And it's all positive, right? There's, it is connecting with what their true nature is and what your true nature is. So I love to share this one. And most of all, what I love is implementation. Do it, you know, apply it.
Yeah. It really is learnable and repeatable. I'll share two quick ones as well. I had a little client who was really bullied a lot in school. She had a lot of problems, you know, and it was a very little private school, but just, you know, she just felt very oppressed in her classroom. So I taught her the method and how to really expand her energy once she got into the room to change the nature of the energy of the room. And I heard from her the next day, and she was just so excited, giggling and laughing and jumping. And she said that day, more people came up and talked to her. She actually made friends. And what was even more important, a teacher that she really felt didn't like her had asked her to be his aide, that he really appreciated her and would she be his aide. So, I mean, it just warmed my heart for a kid to be able to have that experience and that much power in her own life. The second one was a gal who, her sister is very bipolar, and they have this, you know, problem is they'll make plans, and then that morning the sister is having a situation, and, you know, there's a lot of screaming and yelling. So I had taught her how to do, in my vernacular, I think yours is a little different, pinging, that this, you know, remote influencing. And she said her message, she filled her heart with love, and her message was, what's this really about? Shift your perspective. And she said in about 20 minutes, her sister called and said, you know, I don't know what I was so upset about. Really sorry that I went off. Let's start over. And they were able to go on there. So, I mean, fantastic, repeatable. And that's the thing about this. To be able to do this changes the way your life happens, right?
Yes.
So beautiful and so positive, and it makes the person doing it radiant with love. You know, it's almost one of those love or above things. So the opposite of that, how to secretly thwart unwanted attention. Talk about that a little bit. That's an interesting one.
Yes,
you know,
it is.
In Italian, we call it giving people the evil eye, right?
Yeah.
Malocchio.
You know, some people, you know, you can't get away from them. You know, they're on you. There's no other way I can describe it than you're like, just back up, you know, but they're kind of get themselves focused on you and, you know, start obsessing on you and you know, there's 1,000,001 possibilities, you know, but they chosen you and you're it. And you just want to get them off your back. Well, and you can feel them even, you know, when you're not there, you know, in your family gathering or at work or whenever. Well, there are simple methods where they can't track you anymore. You have an address, right? You have a physical address, which is your house, right? But there's an energetic address, right? You may have seen me in the past on some show or something like that, and you really instantly recognize, oh, that's Bill, that's that guy, and he acts like that, and that's kind of how he is, right? You know my energy, you know kind of how I am. You've seen Liz before, and you've seen, that's Liz, that's just kind of how that energy is. There's very much a difference in between her energy and my energy, and everybody else is out there. You just basically recognize, sometimes you may have not seen somebody for a long time from high school. And then you get around them and, you know, the faces change and stuff, but then there's that energy. You're like, oh, there you are. There you are. So people know each other's energy and they tune into it. And that's basically, it's like an address. Well, there's something very specific about your energy system that once understood, you can change. You can change so the person can't like follow you anymore. Imagine if, in a physical sense, somebody was tracking you and then let's say, you know, you live in Colorado, and then you're like, oh, all of a sudden you're in Bangladesh, then you're in Madagascar, then you're over in Barcelona, and you're switching in between each location within a few minutes. You know, it's like, whoa, I can't track this person. You know, I don't know where they're at, and they can't find you anymore. It's going off the grid, if you will. So this can give it a little bit of a break, you know, so that you're not being followed.
This is a fantastic method. And, you know, if we all think about it, we know that we've had somebody who maybe we're having a disagreement with, or maybe we did in the past, and it almost feels like they're on our mind all the time, but the energy is always there. And to be able to disconnect that, it really frees them and us at the same time. And it allows our energy to be back and full in our body and not have this draw. And I'm not kidding. I mean, this is an ancient idea. You know, the Italians have practiced a removal of what's called malocchio for I don't even know how many hundreds of years or more, because they realize, they call it the evil eye, when someone's attention is on you. So this is a fun one. And I have to tell you guys, it is not what you expect. The process is not what you think, but it's really fascinating and really, really fun. The next one, go ahead.
I have a very funny story about this. So I had witnessed this in real time when this technique implemented with someone who was doing that, you know, the whole obsessed thing. And the person that was, you know, trying to follow and was all obsessed and everything, I literally seen him nearly just get knocked out. It was like they were so exhausted, the head went down, hit the table, literally like, what do they call that? Narcolepsy, you know, where the person like passes out and they're like, they couldn't keep hardly conscious when this happened, because it was the amount of energy to try to track was just absolutely overwhelming. Anyway, it's a great another tool in your tool belt. I have a lot of them, a lot more that are going to be taught in this very first one of the Secrets of the Masters series.
Yeah, we're really going to be packing them into this seminar, as many as we can get in. But again, it's just part one, because there really are so many, and the list grows all the time. I think the most important thing to know about this for people is that you really learn how to change reality with your own energy. And I think you walk away with how powerful you really are. And not in ways that are forceful. You're not forcing anyone else or the universe or anything. They're very powerful but gentle in a way, if I can say that. But you learn your own power and your own power over how to influence things. We're going to talk about grief relief, which is huge. It's a big one. You know, people don't know that you can actually shift that very, very quickly. We're going to talk about what you can do with your chakras, which is fantastic and so interesting. Maybe later on the week we'll share another one of these talks about that. But let's actually teach people how to bend time. You ready?
Okay. All right. I love it. Okay. So this technique is extremely simple. And during the seminar, I'll go into different dimensions. Once you understand the different dimensions, you're going to understand how to shift in between them and what the characteristics of these different dimensions are when you shift into them. So when I'll just give you a very brief, because I'm just going to teach you this one technique about how to bend time. In the third dimension, which is the dimension based upon conditional love. In this dimension, there's laws, rules, regulation, yours, mine. Our ego is really a perfect fit in this dimension. It wants. It's constantly wanting, or it didn't get it what it wants, and then it's got a feeling about that. Everything is looked at in judgments. This is good, that's not so good, or I'm disinterested. So in this dimension, there's linear time. So linear time is 60 seconds in a minute, 60 minutes in an hour, so on and so forth. There's no ability in this dimension to manipulate time. It's a law, and the clock is that law. Now, in order to be able to do this, you have to leave that dimension. Well, how do I do that? That sounds crazy. I can't leave that dimension. Well, it's done very simply. And that is when you let go of all of your anger, your resentments, your wants, your fears, all of these things. And the simple way to do this is to go into a state of gratitude. So gratitude for your heart beating, gratitude for your lungs and they're breathing this air. If you ever wanted to really be grateful for the thing, that your lungs do, right? Breathe. Imagine the time that you were nearly drowning or choking on a piece of food, how badly you wanted that breath of air. How grateful now that, just think about that in contrast to how you're breathing right now. And really feel a sense of gratitude for your breath. And then expand it from there. Gratitude for the roof over your head, that it's shielding you from the sun or keeps you safe. Gratitude for the floor you walk on, that it's solid. Gratitude for all of the people's around you and that their heart is working good and their lungs are working good. If Liz right now, something happened to her and she's like, that would be a big problem right now. And so I'm grateful for her ears, that they're working, in her eyes, and I'm grateful for everything, grateful for the sun and that it's shining down and growing all these foods and providing the nourishment for the animals that, maybe we like fish or chicken or whatever. And all those systems are all working together. The more you look at, the more you realize that everything, everywhere is supporting you and your life. Even the road that you drive on, everybody else is paying taxes to have that road maintained and built. Everything, your car is 10,000 moving parts all at the same time to get you where you need to go. Gratitude. So if you enter into a state of gratitude that's complete, and then you set the time that you're going to be there. I'm going to be there at whatever it is, 10 o'clock. No matter what is going on, all you say is, I'm just going to be there at 10 o'clock. And you don't look at the clock anymore. The clock is the rule. So ignore the rule. You're no longer in the rule anymore. You just say, oh, yeah, I'm going to be there at 10. And you have no fear. Fear is third dimensional. Third dimensional is no control over time. Fourth dimensional is the absence of fear. So you go into a state of absence of fear. I'm not afraid of what's going to happen if I miss the flight. I'm just saying I'm going to be there at 10 o'clock. And I am so grateful for everything. I'm grateful for my little nerves in my fingers that are touching the steering wheel and they can actually perform right now. I'm grateful for everything. Every little thing you think of goes back to gratitude. And if you think about, oh, I do have a flight to catch, all you do is like, oh yeah, I'm going to be there at 10. That's it. and then go back to gratitude. No looking at the clock again. Now, that's all there is to it. I will say, if you look at your life, every time that you have been late for a flight, what'd you do? You grip the steering wheel, you think about what all the fears of what if it's gonna happen, the extra cost, that I'm gonna have to go home, gotta rebook, people are there, jerks, blah, blah, blah. All of that is fear. All of it drops you into the third dimension, and all of it keeps you from being able to manipulate time. So it's very, very simple. You simply let go of those fears, relax your body. If you're tense, right, and you're wanting anything, your body will tense up. You relax your body. I don't want anything. I'm merely grateful for everything. And I have an expectation of that I'm going to be here at this time. And it's only for like that little second, like that's what I'm going to do. And you're moving on. And gosh, isn't it great that all of these other people's hearts in every other car that's next to me on the way to the airport, that they are doing great. You know, they don't have an aneurysm and then, you know, I'm grateful that all their systems are working well. I'm grateful for everything that you can possibly think of. There's unlimited things to be grateful for. Anyway, I am so happy to have taught you this today. Please send us an email and let us know how it's going for you. It's a wonderful thing to get the emails and all the wonderful stories from people about the ridiculous, you know, not only, you know, just 15, 20 minutes, but we've had hours, literally hours of time bending. Like, that's not possible. You'd be having to be going hundreds of miles per hour in your car for this to actually happen. So anyway, look forward to hearing from you. Most of all, I want to personally invite you to this weekend from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Pacific time. We're having the Secrets of the Master seminar. It's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to bend your reality.
I mean, that is really true. Bending reality is it. And it's Saturday, the 29th, 9 to 5 Pacific time. You can register at CognoMovement.com/upcoming events, or just go to CognoMovement.com and click on the events, and you'll see it there. I just want to share, you know, this technique doesn't just end with bending a little bit of time. It's quite expansive. That's why this needs to be a series, because that technique can actually be used to reverse injuries. And I mean, I experienced that myself, you know, at Bill's house one time. So there's things we can do with this to shift time. You're really pulling yourself out of the current timeline that you're in and into a higher vibrational timeline, and where things are better. I mean, it's huge. So each of these techniques is at their face level a mini miracle, but then what else can be done with them is so expansive. So thus the need for the series. So billmckennaevents@gmail.com. If you guys have any questions, please reach out. We'll answer usually right away within a few minutes. Any questions you have about the seminar. Again, it's this Saturday. It's online. It's online, so anywhere around the world that you are, you can join. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So thanks for sharing that today, Bill. That was really, really fun.
I love it.
Later on in the week, we'll share another one. I promise we'll get back on again. Please reach out again, CognoMovement.com. If you want to know more about CognoMovement, on Thursday nights, we have a free event that happens from 4 to 5 p.m. You can join us for that, creating an amazing amount of miracles there too. But this weekend, we're having the Secrets of the Masters Intensive, and we'd love to see you guys. Thanks again, Bill. We'll see you guys all soon. Bye.